Guess who's back? Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Welcome to 2025. Welcome to Litha as a 30-year-old. Can you believe I'm in my 30s, guys? I'm in my 30s. Anyway, I hope you are well. I hope your year started out well. Mine started out well, and I was still on holiday, so I was just relaxing and taking it all in, being present. Plus I didn't carry all my filming equipment, so I was just like, what's the point of giving you guys mediocre content? So yeah, this is me. This is the first video of 2025. I hope this year goes so well. I am very hopeful, very optimistic. I have lots of plans that I don't know if all of them will go to fruition, will go according to plan. But yeah, I'm pretty hopeful. So welcome, guys. Let's get settled in. Get your cuppa, get your water, get your juice, get whatever it is, and let's settle in and let's get into the ride. In my interactions with different people, I've realized that people do not necessarily know everything that happens as a student studying abroad. And for me in particular, of course, I've always talked about studying in Australia. Now, I thought this would be a very good video to sort of talk about, share experiences, and just share some of the myths that I've heard out there. And I'm usually like, are you sure? Are you sure that's the truth? Are you sure? Who advised you? Who told you that? And yeah, hopefully this sort of quells any misinformation that is out there, and you are able to know the truth and nothing but the truth. Because what do they say about the truth? It shall set you free. So without further ado, let's get started on some of the myths about studying as an international student, specifically in Australia, but I'm sure this applies across boards, basically abroad. Number one, it is easy to get PR after studying. By PR, I do not mean public relations, I mean permanent residency. Now, this is a myth that is ongoing, and people usually come or move abroad and they're like, yes, after this, I'm gonna get permanent residency. Now, this studying abroad gives you certain a higher chance, let me put it that way, a higher chance of getting PR, but it is not the only thing that will give you PR. So in Australia, for example, they look at different things. So they look at what you studied, they look at the skills you have, they look at your age, they look at your marital status, and then all these things are put into points. And of course, the higher points you have, the higher your chances are of getting PR. The lower your chances, the lower your points are, the lower your chances. So please, before you decide to move abroad, start your research early. If you want permanent residence, start your research early and make sure what you're actually applying for or what you are moving for will give you what you want in the end. The other myth is that the only jobs available for international students are in hospitality, cleaning, or aged care work. I'm here to tell you those are not the only jobs that you can get as an international student. I do understand that because international students have specific number of hours that they can work, then they are more likely to get jobs that are more casual, in the sense that you can work maybe 2 hours, maybe clean an office for 2 hours, and then you're back home studying, etc. But let me tell you, these are not the only jobs you can get. You can get any job, as long as it's casual or part-time, and as long as you have the skills. It doesn't have to be hospitality, it doesn't have to be cleaning, doesn't have to be aged care. Sometimes you may start in these jobs, but then that doesn't mean you stay there. Now, for me, when I first came in, I worked as a disability support worker, and then worked a bit in aged care. Did not like it, was not for me. It wasn't for me. and then I worked in retail for the longest time, and then worked in admin. So very different industries. I have never worked in hospitality, so I have no idea what that is about. I have never done cleaning, so I have no idea. I know a few friends who've done that, and yes, it pays well, but do not sort of like limit yourself to that. Think out of the box. In as much as you may start in those jobs, do not limit yourself. So if you're studying, say, engineering or IT, you could even start looking for like a casual job in IT, engineering, whatever it is. Try and get like a job that will still enable you to sort of like improve your skills, make money, and still stay within the required amount of hours that you need as an international student. The other myth is that you cannot move with your family on a student visa. You can. I'm just here to tell you, you can. Well, by family, I don't mean like your sisters, your brother, your mother, your father. I mean more like if you're married, your partner, if you have kids, your children, they can move with you on your visa. They can study here as well. Your partner can work, and yeah, life goes on. So if you're thinking maybe you cannot, of course it's more expensive, and I think that's why many people usually sort of like move on their own, leave the partner and the kids behind until they're settled, and then they bring their partner and kids and stuff like that. But if you can actually move with them. It is just a bit more costly because you have to think health insurance, you have to think obviously not just your own school fees but your children's, you have to think obviously of rent because you will require obviously a bigger house if you're a family, maybe car, etc. So it's a bit more costly, but you can move with your family. Yes, you can. The last myth is that all courses are offered to international students. Now, while most courses are offered to both international and domestic students, some courses may not necessarily be offered to international students. It just depends, I think, on demand. It depends on the kind of course. I don't think they would offer like security intelligence to an international student. I'm not sure, don't quote me, but I know especially demand, because even before I finished uni, like I realized that some of the courses had been removed, and then some of the courses were just, you would purely find yourself with other international students, and some other courses or units you would purely find yourself with other like domestic students and maybe etc. So some courses may be offered to both, but then some courses are not necessarily offered to both. So before you decide again, do your research and see the course you want to study. Is it offered in a uni that you like? Is it offered for you as an international student? And how much is the fees? Because fees is expensive as an international student. I ain't gonna lie to you. But the thing is, the good thing is, rather, when you decide on a uni, you go to their website, then you just select like international student or domestic student, and it sort of like breaks everything down for you, so you can be able to like follow and get something that's a bit curated for you. The final one that is sort of like a bonus is that you can survive without learning Australian slang. Well, technically you can, but then there's certain words that, especially if you're interacting with other Australians, you'll just be there floating and you're like, excuse me, what do you mean when you say this? etc. I remember one of my shifts at the retail job, and someone came in and they're like, I'm looking for like a sticky ball or something. Was it sticky ball? Something like that. What they meant is they were looking for a bow tie, and it took me a moment. I was like, one of my colleagues actually had to like help like answer, because I was like, we don't have that. There's sort of like basic Australian slang. There's basic like avo is afternoon, breaky is breakfast. So there's the basic ones that I think are very important for you to understand. And I know sometimes we don't want to fit in, we want to stand out, but it's good sometimes because it keeps the conversation flowing, especially when you're making friends with people that are just not from your country. You know what I mean? So it is an advantage when you sort of like fit in terms of learning the language, because I mean, even if you're studying, say, in Germany or France, you would learn the language, right? So I mean, it's not too much to ask or do. That's just my opinion. Anyway, those are just some of the myths I have heard, I have come across. I'm not sure if there's more. If there's more, I'll definitely sort of make another follow-up video, I don't know when, about other myths I've heard. But yeah, I hope this helps you. I hope if you're planning to move, you have sort of like gotten an idea, you've sort of like known what you can do, what you shouldn't do, what you can't do, etc, etc. Until next time, bye.